Hi, I'm Katrina Webb, founder of New Day and your podcast host. In each episode, we'll speak with ambitious leaders from around the world who are creating meaningful change and inspiring leadership for the greater good. Their stories will spark your own leadership journey and offer practical tools to help you lead with purpose and impact. And welcome to the New Day podcast. It's very exciting to be here. Welcome, everybody. And I'm so delighted to have our special guest, very dear friend of mine and friend of New Day, Dr. Tshering Lama, with us today. Now, a little bit about Tshering's background. He has a Bachelor of Health Developmental Studies, a Master's of Public Health, and a PhD in telemedicine. He was the country director for Child Reach Nepal and now is their patron. He is the executive chairperson and co-founder of Idea Studio Nepal, and now also the chief enabler of LeadX Nepal. In 2015, he was awarded a Young Global Leader with the World Economic Forum, and only 8 Nepali people have this honour bestowed upon them. He's also won a presidential award in 2022 and this year in 2025, which is actually 2081 in Nepal. Dr. Tshering Lama, along with 10 other people, was honoured with the Prime Minister National Award in recognition for his outstanding contributions to entrepreneurship, innovation, and social impact in Nepal. So wonderful to have you with us, Tshering, and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. And namaste, Katrina, and everybody who's listening to this podcast. And it's simply honor to be one of the participant or one of the member for your podcast.
Wonderful. Well, namaste, and we're so excited to have you with us. So many things I want to discuss with you. The people who are listening probably have gone, what? She just said 2081, but we're in 2025. What does that mean, Tshering?
One thing that we are ahead in terms of date in Nepal is our calendar. So we are almost, this year is 2081. So from April onwards, I think, 2081. It is a Nepali calendar that we follow in Nepal. So it also shows that Nepal did exist before many other calendars that have been existed around the world.
So can you predict our future?
I don't think so. It's just a calendar that it was before the AD. We had our own calendar and we still follow that calendar. So that is only the base in Nepal. And this is very unique about Nepal as well. At least on the timing side of it, we are a bit ahead, but also historical, cultural, and civilization onward as well. And again, Katrina, you know that we've never been colonized. So we don't have Independence Day, right? So due to that as well, that we have got this special calendar that we follow. So yeah, welcome to 2081, everyone.
And I also want to get people to understand your name because you can see it there. It's Tshering, maybe a bit harder for some of us to say because we don't often have the TSH. Can you pronounce us for us, but also let us know what Tshering means?
Tshering means as a long life. It's a longevity. It talks about longevity and long life in Tibetan and as well as the Yolmo language, that my ethnic language. So yeah, it literally means a long life, but I don't know how long I'm going to live, but as long as I live, I'll want to live purposefully.
Well, let's talk about your life so far and tell us about your early years and what was your early life like for you in Nepal?
It was, I think that everybody's life is interesting, challenging, confusing, and I think that is a part of the growth that we all go through. But to look into my own life, my early life, I spent almost 17 years in the village. So early days in the village, I think it also taught me a lot about what the life is all about. And I still carry that village value of interdependent, of sense of community, and also how we can be within the culture and nature together when you progressing through your life as well. So for us is education, it was always a secondary at the time, not the kind of primary attainment, because we also have to look after our own daily chores, but also be a part of the cultural obligations and the family obligations. So looking after the buffalo till looking after your own field, going to fetch your firewood as well as water sometime, but also the grass for the buffaloes is also the top priority. And also able to fulfill that requirement and responsibility as a village or as a villager is also very important. And then the educations. So I think we at the time been very fortunate. I think sometimes I call it born in a right time at the right place. So there was a school that which it grew up with us. So we've been very fortunate to have somebody thought about having a very good school in the village, whatever the good means, but we had access to that education. And because of that investment as well, in early days in the village with the modern educations, access to the education, but as well as keeping the simple village life enable me to be whoever I want to be today. So early days, yes, physically hardship maybe for many, but also it has might have built my stamina. The early investment on your physical, mental, spiritual being. But most importantly is it made me a sense of early responsibility, even in the early age, looking after your farm to looking after your family. And being a part of the community is how important it is.
Mm, mm-hmm.
It really instilled me that early sense of responsibility, but at the same time, the early sense of values that I think which I still carry forward.
Yes. Tshering, can you give us a picture of what your village, where it was located and what it looked like for the people that might not have ever traveled to Nepal before? It's only about 90 kilometers from Kathmandu, and you're telling us that a school was built right at the time, the right age for you. So how can that be only 90 kilometers away from Kathmandu, yet maybe give us a bit more of a picture of what that looks like?
Hmm. So it is both uh, challenging topographically. Yeah, it is a 90 kilometer, but the crow flight is maybe only 50 kilometer. But if you look at the terrains, ups and downs, and my village is at the altitude of 2,500 meter. So distance in Nepal is not always measured by the kilometers or miles. It's the days it taken to climb up and climb down and cross the river and go on up. But now, early days when we were growing up, there wasn't a road, not even the electricity. But now there is access to road, is a dirt road. It's quite an adventurous drive up the hill, and there is electricity. Uh, so I think that if you look at the like 20 years back, everything is of so much into a physical hardship. If somebody gets sick, we have to carry people down. Or if you want to do any kind of trade, everything is in the back. Uh, there wasn't a access to electricity. That means that we all rely on the paraffin, the kerosene lamp. But now I think the development did take its shape and size. We do have access to the roads and electricity. But having said that, though we are so close by Kathmandu, I think our community never been prioritized in terms of government or in terms of policymakers. It is very, very unfortunate uh, that how come it's like a darkness under the candle lights. So we are so close but so far away from all these developments norms, either be in education, health sector, or any kind of physical infrastructure side of it, what the government is supposed to give a priority. But again, sometimes you do face all those kind of shortfalls, and
Mhm.
they do suffer because of that as well.
Mm. Did you
Yeah.
notice that as you were growing up, Tshering? Did you notice any of that, or was it when you started to go to school and you could start to read and more information came to you that you realized that there was a difference and you could be a part of it?
Oh, yes. I give a credit to all my journey so far is on educations. It gave me a different perspective. It gave me a light basically to see through the darkness as well. As I touching upon earlier, that because of we're so close to the capital city or the national center, but still we're very far away in terms of also development, either be it education, health, whatever kind of needed for the human development, be the economy as well. Because of that as well, that many of my friends could never complete their educations. And sometimes I look back and what if, there was a proper school in the village? What if there was a proper healthcare system in the village? What if there were other socioeconomic development kind of institution in the village? Village wasn't small. It was a very popular among the pilgrimage, Buddhist meditators, all sort of things. But somehow it wasn't in the view of policymakers. So due to that as well, that we are so much like behind in the many, many sense, but it gradually is picking up. I think it is again the giving a credit to the what we enjoy as a democracy, though it is a bit chaos. I think people usually now have their own voice to be raised, and the people want to develop their own place. So because of that as well, that we do have access to basic, but it's still a lot longer way to go. So sometimes I do feel a bit bad,
Mm-hmm.
not for myself, but all my friends. What if
Mm-hmm.
we had on time?
Mm-hmm.
There will be uh, more people like me or more capable than me, and I do know they are equally capable given the right educations. And due to that as well, having this early access to educations, also quality educations, has enabled me to do what I doing now, but also able to show that what the education in the real life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Working as a, using that book, first aid book that I found in the library, using that book and contextualizing that and try to implement in the real life. And also give me a sense of achievement, no matter how small it is, and able to show that people that, hey, this is what the true value of education is all about.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that book? So you were attending school and you found this first aid book in your library. You were starting to learn the English language and you could start to read this book. If I'm right, was it called something like Where There Are No Doctors?
So I found this book in the library called Where There's No Doctor, written by David Warner and David Sander. And it was a very, very useful book that is mostly on the first aid. If somebody get a bruise, how you can clean the wound. If somebody got this diarrhea, what is the local remedies that you can use? And for me, it was like, wow. So I can go through that book and apply those in the village and able to see that impact of it. Sometimes the access to information and access to knowledge is how important it is. So with the help of that book that I could go around the village and I don't call it treat people, but I can use that information and build a kind of make the remedies and just give it to people. I don't know whether they healed because of the placebo effect or because of really it worked. But for me, it was at the time is able to use that what information I can read, able to apply was a huge type of sense of achievement, but also it has given a sense of responsibility at the same time. So I think this combination, I call it putting a text into context and able to demonstrate in the village. I think it was a small but very impactful achievement for me. And also it gave me a confidence that what is the power of knowledge is all about. What is the power of educations? And I think that is always been a part of my life. I think, what if I never had access to that book? But beside that book, there was another book called Helping Health Workers Learn, how to use that book effectively, right? And how to understand the local resources and how to choose the people over profit type of all this kind of uh, more like a self-help type of book. And I'm very thankful for whoever donated that book to the library. And with the help of that book and the help of others volunteer, we used to have a lot of volunteers from the UK who had a first aid kit by themselves. So using their medications of the first aid kits, able to kind of, put a bit of relief on the pain that the people are going through due to caused by the working in the field or falling off the tree while cutting the grasses.
Or having
Or
a baby?
yeah, also having a baby, supporting them. But it's about having access to those knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the village, I'm access to the people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really enabled me to see myself that what is the impact that you can make having education.
And you were only about 11 or 12, were you, at this point, Cherry?
Yeah.
Which is just incredible. I suppose you must have had that feeling of, wow, I can make a difference and help other people. What happened then? Because I said in your introduction you went on to study a bachelor, a master's, and a PhD, and now we understand that you grew up in a village that there wasn't a school until you were the right age. So how does that happen for a young village boy to get access to all of that higher education?
I think that's a very good question. Thank you. We had only up to the grade 10 in the village. So living a kind of completing that we call a school living certificate, SLC, which is up to grade 10. We are like 17, 18 years of age. Was a huge achievement for the village, for us. But it's not only a school living certificate, it was for me, it was a village living certificate as well. As I mentioned earlier, that how important to be in the village, how interdependent we were in the village. And somehow that we are pretty self-sufficient in our own term. We grow things in the field, we get a milk from the buffaloes, and we do a lot of batters, right? So living a village was a big thing. And coming to Kathmandu was another big culture shock. I kind of grew up in the village. You knew everybody in the village, but you're coming to Kathmandu where you might not know many. And your sense of being and sense of belonging was always in the village. Your identity was in the village. Now, taking that challenge to coming to Kathmandu is everything is expensive. At the time, it still is for many people who move from the village to any city, basically. So as I told you earlier, that we had volunteers from the UK, those are also from Australia, from Canada, but most of those volunteers were who completed their A levels, and before they go to university, they come for a gap year. And I used to ask, sir, what did you do? Miss, what did you do? They used to tell me, like, we did A levels. And I had that curiosity. I want to do A levels. And then come to Kathmandu, our founding principal also knew somebody in the Kathmandu that who was running A levels. So I decided to join that. But again, that was expensive. So financial was a big thing. And what I'm very fortunate that my father is craftsmanship as a carpenter, as the little workshop. So we can put that as a collateral, and took the loan from the bank and went to do A levels. And that was quite a interesting journey for me. But again, no matter what kind of background you're from, what kind of financial background or education background you grew up with, education always creates a playing field, level playing field. So having the uniform, wearing my uniform with a white shirt and brown trousers, and hanging out with all these people who comes in the very luxurious cars and all sort of thing. All their parents had a CV, where my parents, just my mom was a housewife. My father still is a carpenter. He's still working very actively. So it was a challenging, but I'm very fortunate that I took A levels. But I met a wonderful friends. And now that is another late teenagers type of friendship. And I think you do make a friends for life. So I didn't really remember what I've learned too much academically, but I do have amazing friends, still considered as a best friend. But that was another kind of, stepping stone for me. The A levels is now the acknowledged as, or still is, globally accepted higher education qualifications. And but I'm very fortunate that my parents took the kind of, my family took the risk on me, taking the loan from the bank and sending me there. But I didn't give up, even at the time, that what I used to do in the village. As a village health worker, I used to go around, but I had this curiosity and thirst for learning more about the health and how the healthcare really works in Nepal. So beside doing a full-time A-level education, I used to go and volunteer at the children's hospital. And I found out this biggest children's hospital in Nepal, where all the children all over Nepal came there for a treatment. And this is another wake-up call and a learning for me. Wow. It's not just in my village. I used to be is very far in terms of policies' eyes or leaders' eye. They couldn't see even that 90 kilometers. But when I met the people from all over Nepal, I said, there's a lot need to be done. People do die or suffer from the fundamental primary care. And most of them are preventable. And due to that as well, that it really enabled me to understand another level of what the point of being educated. So, and even at the time, I was very fortunate that I was working as a volunteer in the hospital, being quite active, doing my studies. But that also gave me extra thirst. What next? If I want to do more for the people, first I need to invest on myself. So that led me to UK. So the one of the volunteer who was volunteering in the village, she asked me what I want to do after A levels. I said, hey, there's a more question than answer I have. She said, would you like to come to UK? I said, excuse me. That's a beautiful gesture of somebody believing that, hey, there's a possibilities of somebody could do something. So she went back to her to UK in England, and she told her mom and her family, I met this young boy in Nepal that who thinks that he really can do more if he is given the right educations, but he has a more question than answer. So I think that family did amazing. I think biggest thing is they trusted on me. So they raised the fund. That's how I end up, in the UK for my further education and health development studies. The reason I wanted to do a health development studies is because of my early years in the village. It's not always about the clinical side of it. There's a lot can be prevented. And then working in the hospital, how we can take the service to the people before they get to us. And now I come to understand that there's a more need to be done before they even come to the hospital. So due to that as well, that I chose this course called Health Development Studies, which is I'm very blessed at the Northumbria University, and people did a fundraise for me to go to UK from a 50 pence, but somebody, her grandmother, her name is Helena Cullen, her mother and her grandmother sold the house so that I could go to UK. And the international tuition fee is still very expensive, but I think that they're the biggest gift I ever received in my life.
Can I just pause there, sharing? I've heard this story many times, and I every time I get emotional listening to it. I mean, how does that feel for you, knowing that her grandmother had never met you, but she trusted her granddaughter and said, if this young Nepali person is worth investing in, I'm in. Like, how does that feel?
I feel very fortunate. And if there's ever thing so-called luck, I think I've been very lucky and fortunate to come across the people like Helen Cullen and her family, and who always believed in investing in education. My parents could have never afford that.
Oh.
You know, even like to do a A levels in Kathmandu, my father had to take a loan. That wasn't that much actually, at around $1,500 at the time, right? But again, it was quite big,
Yeah.
and kind of going to the UK was a far-fetched dream. But somebody able to take a risk,
Mm-hmm.
that is something that I found is very powerful in a way that because we don't know what the result gonna be, and this is a very interesting thing about how the people can take a risk on somebody else because with the faith in that particular person, but also having a faith in themselves that we could able to raise the fund so he can have access to the education and the British educations, which everybody dreamed about going to. So I've been I've been very blessed in terms of that. But one of the things I've learned, Katrina, here is I never hesitate to share my dream. I was very passionate about what I want to do, and since a young age, and I said like this is where I really want to be. And I think they have seen it. And one of the things I've realized that if you've got a faith in yourself, people got a faith in you as well. And people can dream no matter middle of nowhere in the mountain, whether it be in the
Mm.
be and I think that's a dream. And enabling people to dream itself is what the education does, what the global network and friendship does. And I think how we can able to add value to each other. And I'm a sole example of it. And investing in education, early days in the village, and my parents taking another risk, taking a loan from the bank for my educations. Now there's another family who never met me, want to take a risk.
Yes.
But taking a risk in the educations, I think the best risk anybody could take.
Absolutely. Yes. So
So I'm a good
so you
example of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose in some ways having that opportunity, did you feel maybe pressure is not the right word, but when people do invest on you and take that risk, did you feel a sense of responsibility and accountability that going to the UK, that you would make every moment worthwhile? Like, did you feel that sense of responsibility?
I think that other sense of responsibility was when I was in the village. So sometimes you have to grow up very fast in the village.
Yes.
Learn your age. So age is just a number. So you end up taking responsibility of the household chores. And as we shared earlier, that working as a village health worker, don't call it health worker, it's a first aider. I think whatever knowledge that I had access to, I'm using that to see the impact and also able to be a part of the community has given me the early sense of responsibility. But when somebody decide to invest on you, huge sum of money, and I think that gives me responsibility, but at the same time, it also kind of given me a challenge. And that challenge is worth a challenge forward. And this is something that I think the biggest gift that I received without any terms and conditions. There was nothing contracts have ever been written that, yeah, you have to do certain things.
Yeah. Got to
Nothing.
get distinctions or, yeah, nothing.
And and I think this is the biggest gift I ever received. And the trust, the most is trust. So due to that as well, if somebody said, I trust you, it is a big thing for me. Money can be made, can be utilized, but the trust somebody bestow upon you is a huge. And I carry that trust with a full heartedly. And that become not a responsibility, Katrina. It become an energy for me.
Yeah.
But a
Wow.
source of beautiful energy for me to excel through, despite all the challenges. And I said, hey, no matter where I come from, somebody trusted on me. Somebody thought I'm a worthy of investment. So I need to be a more responsible to myself than anybody else. And I think that has given me another sense of not only responsibility, but needed energy and, you know, source of power, you call it, to navigate through all the challenges, extra challenges that I could have or faced during my education's time.
Mm-hmm.
It was confusing. It's a different area, different
Culture.
things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think I'm a yeah I'm a very fortunate in that term,
Mm-hmm.
but also importance of investment on people is key thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we do, and I'm very thankful for that family and everybody who joined the campaign with that family to invest on me. So there are people who donated, 50 pence till £10,000 at the time. And how important it is not the money side of it, it's the trust they
Yeah.
bestow. It's
Yes.
young girl from the mountain,
Mm-hmm.
you know, having an education in the UK, which is a far-fetched dream for many, many, and still. So I think rather than a responsibility, I think it has given a wonderful source of energy for me or
Beautiful.
income.
And you had that energy. You went on to do your bachelor, as we mentioned at the beginning, in health development studies, and then while you were there, did many extraordinary things to create your own pathway and energy to then go on to study your master's in public health. What would you say was your highlight from your time studying in the UK?
I was very easily accepted by local people. It's one of the things I've learned, Katrina, no matter where you are in the world, you can always be useful for somebody else. And you can always add value to somebody else. And this is the gift I think I've learned in the village. And even in the UK, that beside my education commitment, I've been a part of a volunteer action group working, cleaning up the beach, because in Nepal, we don't have a beach. So for me, is a kind of excuse to go to the beach as well. And see life and able to have this far-fetched dream as to what's beyond that sea. And also working with differently able people, but also working with the war veterans, retired people, able to understand their culture, their life has become another open book for me. And I think that is another level that I could able to learn more than I could give it to them. And I'm again thankful for all these Newcastle people, the Geordie people who accepted me in their community and do what I could do. The only thing I had was a time. bit of time beside my education and part-time job, and I still want to be part of that community, understand those community, because and that really enable me again, no matter where you are in the world, if you think slightly differently, you can always be useful, not for others, but for yourself as well. So
Mm.
it's gave me another chance to get out of my confined accommodations or library or, within the university settings, able to understand what that community is all about, how important that institution for those communities, right? I'm having this amazing experience from the mountain till, North Sea, right? There is still a lot of people within the Newcastle don't have access to those kind of quality educations. And that gave me another perspective.
Mhm.
I thought that I was being institutionalized discriminatory by my government in the mountains, but I found that within Newcastle as well, and able to work with those kind of communities, even in Newcastle, able to understand that having a human connections really enabled me to shine through again in within the international student settings, but most importantly within the Newcastle as a community, and able to learn that has enabled me to grow even the another level.
Yeah.
What is the importance of being a global citizen means? It's not about your color. It's not about your education. It's about your acceptance and able to open up that, hey, is there something I can be useful? Can I add value to each other? If nothing happens,
Yeah.
always be you can be for them. But again, I'm thankful for the Newcastle, the community, all these people. They speak they still speak Jodi, which was very difficult to understand at the beginning. Weather was very cold. Yeah, I'm from the mountain. It's a warm, cold. Our is dry cold. They've got this wet cold. But the people were warm, and able to willing to share, willing to open up their doors. I felt that my another village there.
Beautiful.
And I love that sense of community among the people. It's not about your titles.
Yes.
People always love another people. And that's the beauty that I found there as well. So, and I'm thankful. And because of those as well, I'm able to show that I can add value there as well. I think they add more value to me rather than me. Frustrated,
I love
stressed.
that saying, sharing, and you've taught me that. And it's the way I've always worked as well. And meeting you and you saying that we can always add the value to each other. So let's find a way of adding the value. I love that about you and love that the way you work. And I also want to pick up on that you said you had time. And can I also say your incredible talents of, growing up in the village in the way that you're able to connect with humans from many different cultures and backgrounds and differences. You brought two of your beautiful skills, your time and your talents. Something else you've also helped me to understand and learn is we've always got the ability to give those three things: the time, the talent, and treasure. Sometimes if you've got it, but sometimes you don't have the treasure, meaning the money. But you've said here, I'd love for you to expand a little bit more on that because, I heard you say I had the time. I'm going to add that you had your incredible talents already there from your village life, adding the value and investing either in time, talent, or treasures.
And the other thing is also a community as a team. I think no matter where you go, you do need a team. I think we are interdependent people. And that's something that I think I've been instilled very, very strongly in the village. No matter what happens in the village, we're always there for each other. And that teamwork, either from birth till death, as a sense of community, is also a team. And I think my university instilled another level of team for me as a volunteer actions, able to work with the community because working in the community in UK is slightly different than a community in my village. We don't have a lock in the village. We can go and walk in any house and eat the lunch there. But in the UK, you need to get all these approvals where you're coming from, and I can get that, you know. So
Erin, you did well in that space, didn't you? Because you won an award at the university, if I'm right, because of your incredible volunteer work.
it's yeah. Again, I didn't do it all this volunteer work because I'm going to get an award. Somewhere, somebody always there to watching what this guy is trying to do. As I told you, I did it because I want to get out of all this isolation myself. I've got this curiosity. Actually, I went out and be with the community, working with the deprived communities in the Newcastle, with the children, to the minorities, to the elderly, to the environment. It's part of the public health for me to understand the community. But I'm thankful they accepted me. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But the university had another eye on me that I didn't only go myself. I congregated, I encouraged other international students and other local students to join me as well, either be it in tree plantations, either working in the sensory garden, either working and cleaning up one of the war veterans' backyard, and or cleaning up the beach, right? All this has had some kind of impact on the university level as well. And before I graduated, Katrina, there's not only you get an award, but you also get struck by a crisis. The lady that who took the challenge, Helena's mom, passed away with the cancer. And that was a big setback for me. This is again, every time I think about it, if that family never trusted me, I won't be here. But just when about to graduate, the person that who took the lead on it, writing a letter to everybody, we met this, my daughter met this guy in Nepal. We met his brother here in the UK, want to have a further educations and passing, leaving this world with a very short notice. That was a big challenge for me. And the last moment that I had with her, walking through the wood in her probably last stage, she said, I trust you.
Wow.
And that's why I don't know what that trust means. I still don't know. And that is the biggest, somebody took the challenge, but I couldn't able to show the result that, yes, I've graduated. But for my surprise, the university had nothing in their head. And they set up the scholarship on the name of the retiring chancellor called Lord Glenamara. He was also education secretary before, called Ted Short, quite well-known politicians. So they asked me what I want to do next. And I said, I had a more question than answer. I want to take this knowledge back home, but I don't know what, and I found the undergrad is like a foundation degree for me. And I said, I want to take something back, but I don't know yet. But if I get a chance, I'd love to do a master. And I was looking for other places as well, but they said, we'd like to stay with us. And as they created this special scholarship called Lord Glenamara International Scholarship, the contribution that I made to the community, to the environment, to the public, I said, basically, I made a contribution to myself, right? And with that, enable me to get the full scholarship to do my master's in public health. And that is another, example of sometime person that who goes to help get more help than you're helping, right? I'm very thankful for that as well. My university set up the scholarship on the name of the late Lord Glenamara, and I able to complete my master.
It's beautiful sharing because yes, you might have been doing it out of your own wonderful curiosity and sense of understanding public health and learning from others. And at the same time, you were paying it forward and you were building this energy to help other people come along that journey as well. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. Yes, there was that individual learning and excitement. And one of the things I love about you is actually this. I need to share this with others. Like the other people can come on this journey and benefit from this. And, obviously the university saw that leadership that you were generating, that inspired leadership for the greater good, helping others at the same time, paying it forward and inspiring others to come on that journey with you. And of course, when you do it with that intention, then these wonderful things started to open up for your own journey to continue.
And again, as I shared earlier, that I had a faith in myself and people got a faith on me. And I was always passionate about whatever I do, no matter how small thing is. And now more and more, I think I'm getting older. There's no such thing called a small thing. There's every little has got a meaning and adding value to the overall growth. And I've been very fortunate that my village has enabled me, my school has enabled me, that created that enabling environment, my university, and the people around me. And as I was sharing earlier, that yeah, you do go through the crisis. Some people that you really want to demonstrate that think that you trusted me, here is the result, but sometimes you don't get that chance to say thank you.
Yeah.
Here you go. And
Yeah,
that is, I think, nature of life.
that's
So,
right.
Judy, well, I was very heartbroken that I wish that I could able to tell her, show her that I've graduated, but I couldn't. And due to that as well, that sometimes you still got this uh, bit of questions in you that why, but I don't think I'll ever get that answer. But I'm sure that if we believe in a afterlife sometime, but I believe most of the time before life, but before death life,
Mm.
you know, I'm sure that she's up there looking down and saying that, well done, my child. But also there's her family, everybody joined in for my graduations. I'm very thankful for that as well. And my master's enabled me to give another level of confidence in public health, that it gave me my quest for what the health education and livelihood is all about and what the public health all about means. At the time as well, like I took my university challenge to next level, working with the whole Northeast region for understanding the global challenges like a control on climate change, gender violence, making poverty history like economic inequalities around the world. And that gave me another global sense of urgency, but at the same time, that how one individual can able to do and get the people behind you, raise the awareness, not to the world, but ourselves as well. How important it is to become aware that what's happening globally when you're having your own mode of challenges that you're facing.
Mhm.
The masters has been another, and yeah, Katrina, I just want to quickly throw here is that at the time, again, the UK government acknowledged my contribution. So I become a International Student of the Year award winner from Northeast and met with the then Prime Minister, Mr. Tony Blair, in the Downing Street. And that was another, again, feathers in that. So there are always that, whenever you keep on doing what you love doing, there are always somebody saying, can we acknowledge his contributions or her contributions? And it's not about that you're always hitting a target, but it's just say, hey, do what you do.
Yes.
You'll do anyway, right?
Yes.
So that's enabled me again to the next challenge. So as I
Can I ask, Tshering, did that news get back to your village about young village Tshering Lama meeting Tony Blair?
Yeah, it's become a big news in Nepal. I was on the front page, and yeah, I never knew that it's going to make that big high kind of headline in Nepal. So so yeah, and it's a good thing happened was I also received like around £1,000, and I bought the tickets and went back, and then it's become a big celebration. So but again, all those celebrations I took as a responsible, uh, but also another level of challenge that if I could be, what I can do for others, right? And a lot of people took me as example. If this village boy can dream to become a in the global platform, I think everybody can dream. And yeah, I was in a newspaper. I was in all this celebration. My own ethnic group all came together as well to congratulate me. And yeah, and this also gave me another challenge that what next? So one of the things I've learned in my life so far is it's not what you have done that matters. What next matters the most. You know, that's done. So I came back with all these kind of big folders with the news clips, all this magazine, all these videos and audios, and told my university this is what happened in Nepal. Again, for my surprise, the university said, "Oh, okay, if we might able to do something." I said, yeah, I'm busy with my dissertation, but yeah, whatever you could do, please. There's a more Nepalese more capable than me in Nepal. Given the opportunity, I think they might shine even better than me. So for my surprise, I got a phone call from university saying that university decided to give a scholarship name after you. I said, excuse me, I'm still alive. I haven't won the lottery yet. And I'm not that smart as a student, but I'm always the purposeful. Yes. So they set up a scholarship named after me called Tshering Lama Northumbria University Scholarship for a 20 Nepalese to come to UK every year. I'm very thankful for that as well. And you know, I it's like what you said earlier, paying forward. It's not just me. There's other people can able to join. So yeah, that's and again, one led to another. One appreciation led to another challenge. One challenge opened another opportunities. So let's keep on navigating through. And so that's how I completed my master's in public health. And again, I came up with the more question than answer. And just quickly touch upon this on my telemedicine. It was when I was doing my final year thesis on maternal and child health in looking at the public health perspective in Nepal. I mentioned earlier that there were a volunteer who came with the first aid box in the village and who used to work around with me. She told her dad, who was a neurologist, her mom is a medical doctor, and she is a medical student herself. She said, Dad, the boy that I was telling you from the village is in Newcastle now. So he asked me to come down to Belfast. I went there and he said, What do you want to do with this education? I said, I want to take it home, but I don't know how. And he said, Have you heard about telemedicine? Because he was doing a lot of telemedicine work with Australia, but teleneurology with the differently around the UK, but also around the world. And I was remember telling him, Victor, in Nepal, we're still struggling with the malnutrition, diarrhea, and all sort of preventable diseases. The question he posed me was one of the most difficult question, and I still don't have an answer. He said, How much you worth? Your life worth. So I don't know. With this master's degree in the UK, I think I might worth a bit more. I said, How much the people of the villages you left behind worth? Now that was again another reminder for me who I was, where my roots are. So I said, I don't know. You cannot put the monetary value on the people's life. So he said, then we can put the value on a satellite, then we can put the mobile phones, we can put the computers. So we Googled, we found out how much it's going to cost, and we started doing a fundraise. I went back to my university. I'm changing my thesis topic, looking at the possibilities of telemedicine in Nepal. And that is led to another. And sometimes I've learned in life that you need to have a critical friend who's asking you a very toughest question in life.
Mm-hmm.
But also not only asking that question, they said, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And Victor went on advising me for my PhD. And yeah, again, it became a news in the Newcastle as well. They covered that little boy want to take his knowledge back to the mountains. There's somebody walking my door saying that, hey, I read about you in a Newcastle journal. Here's a £5,000. And then, there are always, if you share the dreams, there are always people relate to this dream and able to support you. And that's how I've finished my PhD. But at the same time, that also got me a chance to take my knowledge back and work with the amazing hospital, Dulikhill,
Mm-hmm.
and able to learn more, see that what my next chapter of my life is going to be.
Because
So that's
Tshering, you could have stayed in the UK. I'm sure by then you had, your bachelor and masters, you had beautiful family, friends, and incredible opportunity probably to earn some good money, good pounds, and stay there and have a really comfortable life. But you've already told us you wanted to take that knowledge back to Nepal. Did you think about staying in the UK?
no. Shortest answer. No. I think, as I shared earlier, that my early sense of my childhood instilled the value system on me,
Yes.
what the education able to do to the people. And one of the things I've learned from amazing Dr. Ram is that I want to be there where my presence being felt, where people can look up, say, hey, if he or she could do, we could do as well. And
Yes.
where we can add value to each other's life. And I think because of this sense and that value that I carried, also people invested on me as well. And I never understood money that well. One is I never had when I was growing up. And so far, whatever I want to do, people always saying that, oh, we can invest. And that's why I call it investment is time, talent, team, and treasure. Right? When you form this time and talent, you can commit. You can create the team that there's people willing to be a part of that journey. So due to that as well, that I never understood the comfort of life. in the UK. They have got their own challenges. But the challenge we're facing in the villages are way more,
Yes.
than the challenges and where I can be useful. So
Yes.
due to, well, yeah, I decided to come back. And I'm very happy that I made that decision. I've got no regrets living in UK, but I'm so grateful that UK made me who I am today. They cemented another level of foundation so strong that I can be wherever I want to be globally.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Yeah. So sharing with all of this knowledge, and congratulations on a bachelor, master's, and a PhD. I've not done a PhD, but from my many friends that have just told me. I mean, I've come from a Paralympic background and spent a lot of time training and worked hard to win gold medals. I can maybe correlate that to a PhD, the amount of intensity and time and energy and dedication it takes. Was it a difficult thing to complete?
It was,
Mm.
but at the same time, as you correctly say, that everything need a dedications, everything need a purpose, everything need a coach, right? Like probably for Olympians, winning a gold medal, it is a doctorate. There's the highest achievement you can have,
Mhm.
right? And you have done incredible in terms of that journey. So yeah, you are the doctorate in Olympian uh, arena, Olympic arena, and especially in the Paralympic arena. And what you've done, I'm very fortunate to learn from you, and I've got so much respect. And I'm grateful that I've got a friend like yourself in my life. And PhD is a halfway between the wisdom and the information for me. So I love this word called epistemology, the study of knowledge. And one of the things I've learned is, Katrina, you cannot buy knowledge, you have to earn it. And that is the biggest thing I have now. I earned that also in the UK. And I think probably the best thing that I have got. But again, having said that, having just PhD doesn't really make much of impact on the globally. But my early sense of responsibilities, I want to take the knowledge back home. And that is enable me, I think that purpose enable me to make a decision that, or every decision that I made in my life. So having a PhD really enabled me to have this intellectual type of curiosity, but also constantly you need to learn. But also PhD made me enterprising because you need to defend your titles, right? You need to get your team together, your supervisors. You need to go and collect the data. It's like market research, right? You need to have all this understanding even to prove the one hypothesis. And I think I've learned what the resilient means intellectually. Physical resilience, I think I might have built in the village. I survived them all. Mental, yeah, is there. That being in the forest and early onwards in the nature, I think it might enable me. But intellectually, I think the PhD really helped me. There were a moment that I ran away. But again, people who invested me from the early onwards, from my village till my master, I always think about them. Like I wasn't alone. I was a project for many.
Mm.
What a
Mhm.
huge project.
Mm.
So I always appreciated, I've been grateful for those people who added value to me. So I really enjoyed my PhD. It was a challenging, and it should be a challenging. It was a thought-provoking challenging, and I'm happy that I had that. So, so it has enabled me to understand that what the knowledge creation is all about,
Mm.
and I'm very grateful. But again, there's a lot need to be done, and one of the things I've learned from that is knowledge evolves. There's no end to that knowledge creations. So it's constant been evolving, and I've been still using that my PhD findings, my PhD methodologies in the work, everything that I do. And due to that as well, that people do ask me sometimes, don't you get frustrated in Nepal? All this chaos and challenges. When every challenge has become a knowledge creation, it won't be.
Mhm.
It just you get another curiosity. Tell
Yeah.
me more.
Yeah, I've got
Tell
more
me more.
questions. Yeah, no. Sharon, what was your major finding from your PhD? And then tell me how you have and still are implementing that in Nepal.
The best finding is that telemedicine is all people talk about technology, but telemedicine is about the human relationship. The advancement technology is there, but if the people don't trust the people over the other end, it's not going to work. So I went in as thinking that telemedicine, because of the rapid development of technology, will enable people to solve the problem. But it's not about technology, it's about the people who uses them. So one of the things is I had this beautiful quote. I was interviewing this village health worker, the place called Bahonipati, and I was asking her, do you know much about telemedicine or using a technology in healthcare? I loved her answer, and I still use these days. First, you need to have a patient.
That's
And
helpful. Yeah.
and you need people like us who can able to understand those problems. And then, yeah, you need to have somebody to talk to, then telemedicine will work.
Beautiful.
So I always said, technology is there to serve us. It's just a medium. So that's not an end. So I've come to understand that how we unlock, unblock, and validate everybody's existence in the ecosystem. And how that development phase, maturing phase, and sustaining phase evolves around. That in the personal relationship as well. That's in the professional growth as well. And I think I went in as a technology will enable us. Yes, it does. But I come out as how important to invest on the human relationship. And I call it like access, communications, and empowerment. If you're empowered, you look for access, you'll communicate. You know, if you're well communicating well, the things that you understood better, you have access as well. And you've got access that you feel you're able to communicate, you get empowered as well. This triangulations of these three things is so much important for everybody's growth, either personal or professionals. And I exactly use that platform still. And everything that I do, either be in a child reach or be in the idea studio, right? Be in the LeadX as well. And due to that as well, that Katrina, that we always share that about how much important to add the value to each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tshering, I'd
How
love for you to share a little bit more on, I know there's so many things that you've done and so many things that we could continue to talk about. Paying it forward, you're still doing that, and you're working on Idea Studio. Can you explain to us where that came from and what you're doing to enable people to, I suppose, bring their best and invest in others?
Katrina, thank you for asking that question. As I shared earlier, that as a public health, I look for three things: health, education, and livelihood. And when I came back to Nepal, first I started through the charity on the educations, because I am the example of having an education invested early onwards. And the secondary is a health, something that I've been a professional close with. And third thing is livelihood. If the livelihood is not sorted, education goes down the hill. Health, again, get into crisis. So due to that as well, that when I was in Nepal, I've traveled around Nepal through my work, through my own curiosity as well. And I come to understand how I can able to add value to those who working, those who want to earn a bit more. And part of my PhD findings also, Katrina, I've learned was it's every individual, every human being look for two things, either personal growth or professional growth. It is not a big dream for somebody who's earning $1,000 today, having a dream of earning 10,000. If those who have got undergrad, having a postgrad degree, it's just the common sense, basically. But how we can able to add value to those so that they can look after their health by themselves, they can invest on their children's educations. So this is how the Idea Studio come up with. And I had always in that mind. And while I travel around the world, the global change happened when there was the creations, the people, creators, the group of creators, and who create things for not only for themselves, for others as well. But not just creating will enable, but also it need a mentorship. Same as a PhD, same as what you being an Olympian as well, right? Not just you can run better, will win the Olympic. You have got a coach, mental coach, you have got a nutritionist, you need to have a parapet. You need people who maintain the parapet as well, right? It's how important it is to grow that. So I believed in it, and I shared these ideas with others. Hey, we need to, if Nepal need to graduate from the grant-driven from the charity-driven country to impact. We want to graduate. So the only way to graduate is investing in livelihood. And I shared with other couple of peoples, and I'm very thankful that people like Rupesh I met, Amjad Ravi I met. Yeah, I've been sharing my ideas, saying that, hey, we need to do something. I could do business myself, but I think I found that my capability is bringing people together to support other people to thrive, not to survive. So that's how that idea studio came about. And we call it idea studio where the idea get processed. And it's same as that, everything that we do, either giving a birth, yes, you need a two people, but to raise a child, you need a community, you need an education system and everything. Same as idea. So that's why idea studio came about. We are very grateful. Today, there's around 190 businesses running. And one of the thing is, Katrina, the beautiful thing here is it's not they're all profit driven, they're all purpose driven.
Yes.
And due to that as well, that almost a 70% of our startups succeeded in Nepal because of purpose.
Yeah.
And also because of the support mechanism, because we provide the support from 3 to 5 years. And that is very crucial for any startups, and able to have that somebody can take a risk.
Mhm.
But we need to have people said, you take the risk, we are there to back you up. We trust you. I think this notion goes back to my own
Own
journey.
story. Yeah, totally. So you've replicated it. So you've gone across Nepal looking for people's ideas, business ideas that have purpose, impact with them. And then if you think you can trust in them, you've enabled them to get access if they needed to finances, but also, like you said, to support. So you've now paid the model that you learnt through to others to improve their livelihood, which will go on to improve the public health. And yeah, what an
And
amazing story.
so, yeah, now we have got amazing leaders that I'm very happy with, also more than 250 leaders. I call them impact leaders. And I always tell them business will fail, might fail, but you shouldn't. Business might get sold or will be sold, but you shouldn't. Only thing is needed is a constant learning. And that's something that we've learned all the time. We learn, unlearn, and relearn. And more I get into, there's no such thing called expert. We're all in this lifelong learning journey. And but there's a lot of life lesson will be taught by many people who cross by. It's always there. So I'm very thankful for that. But again, with this idea studio recently, the prime minister visited as well, and he met with all the ideators. And I said, hey, there's one is job seeker and one is job creator. We need to have a group of people who can create a job. And it also become another platform for returning migrants like myself who come back from the UK, but they all coming from a different part of the world after working there for 5, 6, 10 years. They've got a knowledge, they've got a bit of investment, they've got a work ethics. They want to utilize as well. It's also become a platform for them. So yeah, it is an ecosystem that we built. And now again, the challenges are still there, Katrina.
Yes.
And that challenges really keeps me awake. The day the challenge is nothing there, I think I'll get bored.
Yeah.
And I'm there's a lot of that challenges I want to take it is because of my global network, people like yourself with me in my life, my family supports, and my other young global leader network. Sometimes I think if I take that challenge, at least that 10 other people will get benefit. And
Totally.
what we know is that one person starts a business, the 10 people get directly or indirectly a job.
Mhm.
And that is the impact that we want to create. And so we are doing our best.
You're doing,
And
well, you're doing amazing because you just had the Prime Minister visit. You got the Presidential Award as well, or the Prime Minister Award recently in this year of 2081. You're talking about a challenge here, sharing. I would like to pose this question of you. If we flip that and say, what is the dream now that you are sharing for Nepal? What would you like? We've got people listening to you now. What is that dream? And if we share that dream, as you've mentioned before, it helps to make it a reality.
the first and foremost, what I'm trying is how I can change the narrative of my country. I need to change that. We need to change that. It's not just whenever you Google them, Google Nepal, one comes with beautiful country, mountains and everything. Another comes with all this kind of, the word that you don't want to hear in your own existence, right? The political chaos, the corruptions, right? All these things that were the development of poverty, all sort of things. But what I've learned is there's more than that. There are people there who needed investment. One of the things I'm proud that I work with the universities, I always tell them, there are people there who dream that educate me. For 4 years, I'll commit. And sometimes I think we fail them. So due to that as well, that my another challenge is how we can make all these young graduates fit for country, but also globally relevant. And so due to that as well, that I work across the different group of people, Nepal, outside Nepal. And that is one thing that we need to do more investment on these graduates, that they're in their competency level. And that is the one challenge. I'm very happy that our age dividend is there. We are providing the global workforce for many, many countries. I don't want to call it cheap labor, but there might be undertrained and underpaid labor. There's no such thing called cheap labor. People are not cheap, right? Globally, I hate this word called cheap labor. So we need to restore the dignity of those people. So due to that as well, we need to change the narrative when in the country, in Nepal, how are we going to tell the people that what the Nepal is all about? And in order to do that, second thing is I'm very thankful to you as well, Katrina, that what we do with the New Day, our leadership journey. Once people visit Nepal, they have a different perspective of Nepal and about different perspective of their own as well. We change the narrative, not just about the country, but we change the narrative of their own life as well. Thus, Nepal could add value to them as well, despite our own chaos, whatever the definition of the development people have. So this is one of the things is bringing more people in Nepal, experiencing that what we have experienced in a good way.
Yes.
Can Nepal be the hub for the spirituality? Can Nepal be the hub to finding your own self? Can Nepal be the hub, non-threatening to your existence and finding wholesomeness in yourself? And can Nepal be the hub for the new knowledge creations? Either be a climate diplomacy, cultural diplomacy, or just people-to-people diplomacy. And this is something that we're looking into it. And the fourth one is, can we create a platform for people to come and celebrate their existence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful.
So these are the few things that, no, not just me, that you're taking the challenge on this together with me. I'm very thankful for that. There's other people willing to join as well. And it's about sharing that what we have seen good for us. It might not be good for everybody, but hey, you can experience yourself. Lastly, that my biggest challenge is how I can constantly learning that my next to face the next challenge. And I know that will be bigger, but how I can prepare myself and what my leadership is all about. What is the next purpose of my leadership? And I think it's more about adding values.
Mm-hmm.
So due to that as well, that the reason I travel a lot is to changing this narrative. People that I invite, and we both invite a lot of people to Nepal, is again having this amazing goodwill ambassador of this little country. I don't know how little it is, but it's quite big in many ways. So, but again, at the end of the day is, can Nepal be the hub to finding a sense worth and sense of interbeing that what we always discuss about?
Absolutely. Tshering, if you could change so if someone did Google search or search on the internet Nepal, if you could change it to maybe 5 words, what would you love to see come up, and what do you experience and see from being Nepali that doesn't come up as the first thing?
I want first thing to come as a people.
And what is it with the people?
It's how diverse the people are, but how united the people are culturally, geographical wise, religious wise, every sector. As we love celebrating everybody's holidays, everybody's ceremonies. The first thing is that. Second thing is the future. Investing on the youth. We have an amazing track record of serving the British Army, Singapore Police. Can Nepal be another security kind of global peace force, right? Rather than looking at what we don't have, what we have, and how we can maximize those, how we can strengthen those capacities. Third one is climate, but is more looking at the challenges that we globally face, things we might not have created. And fourth is that philosophies that we carry, the Buddhist philosophies, Hindu philosophies, and the cross-cultural understanding. Those are the things that I want to say.
Yeah.
So not just whenever you Google something, they're always negative. It's like going to the pathology, Katrina, going to the hospital. Yes, you always find something wrong. But as the coming from the healthcare profession, as you are, if we say that somebody is breathing, there's more good than bad. So there always a room for improvement.
Yes.
And what I see is if the Nepalese can go abroad and do wonders, I think our next challenge will be the creating that platform so they can come back
Yeah.
and be as equals wonderful, and they will be. So it's about creating a platform.
Mm.
So my next challenge is, can we create that platform?
Yeah.
Not the people leaving, but people coming back.
People want to stay. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So that's another challenge, but let's see.
Yeah, well, you continue to create more questions than you do answers, which I absolutely love your curiosity sharing. Thank you so much for taking us on, your life journey today and sharing so many lessons along the way. I'd love for you to finish with, sharing a couple of your favorite quotes or your favorite insights that have really helped you to, lead for that greater good, not only for yourself, but as we've talked about today, for others and, of course, globally.
Thank you, Katrina. It's I think the most difficult podcast and interview I've ever done. But also, it's like kind of telling the story to somebody who knew me very well. Again, revisiting that. But again, this is not only for ourselves to revisit and recap that what we have shared, but also for people that who might get a little benefit about our relationship that we built and we invested so far for last 14 years or 15 years. So thank you very much. To take it forward, that there's something that saying I love about is nothing about you without you. How precious your own existence. Sometimes it sounds like very selfish, but at the same time that at the end of the day is about yourself that you need to get invested. And that is something that I want everybody to take care of themselves, look after themselves, despite all the challenges that go through. Second is there's no such thing called a big dream or a small dream, you know. And best thing is people can do is a dream, and they keep dreaming
And share it.
and share it. Don't worry about people who will copy. I don't know. Every dream is worth copying, but every dream is worth fulfilling. Now that is what is matters. It's not about ideas. How you execute those ideas are more important. Right? So due to that as well, like keep dreaming, keep sharing those dreams. You never know. You'll find another co-founders or another crazy person, like what we're doing, Katrina. And we keep sharing this with others. And the third one is invest. Invest not just a monetary wise, invest in time, talent, team, and the treasure will come. But a time and talent and a team is crucial for any kind for growth, personal, but professional as well. And lastly is that dignity, no matter where we are, as a citizen of any country or citizen of the world. If you don't feel dignified, neither you can be creative, nor you can do investment, nor you can fight for your own justice or others' justice. So the dignity is the key. And in order to restore that dignity, the fundamental is invest in education. Nobody should left behind with the fundamental access to educations. Nobody. And if anybody do the biggest human crime in the world is violating that access to educations. And if somebody asks an example, that's me. If I could dream it, if I could be it, I think the future generation will do much better because of their access they have to the world these days. So yeah, just have a faith in ourselves, faith in yourself, be passionate, the hope that there's a better future for one person who has taken the lead, but people that we want to touch upon and serve.
Wonderful. Well, Tshering, you're extraordinary. Your journey's been extraordinary. Thank you so much for sharing it. And if you would like to find more about what the work Tshering does across the world, you can visit our website at newday.world. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today, and to keep doing wonderful things in the world.
Thank you, Katrina, for this wonderful opportunity. And yeah, we got a lot to do for ourselves and for others, but it's a part of the huge learning journey. And I'm sure that other people will join us in this journey as well. It's been interesting doing a podcast with you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Namaste. Thanks for tuning in to the New Day podcast. For more inspiration and tools to lead for the greater good, visit newday.world. Keep leading with purpose, and we'll see you next time.